So yeah, double. And I'll get into that. Also, sorry about the buzzing. There's a fly. So yeah, I've got double because I forgot some things about book one. So let's go back to book one. The other thing which I forgot is 2 other stories. Actually, I might talk about that later because that's spoilers. Actually, yeah, it's still spoilers. Sort of for the first one, but I'm gonna keep it in there. So I like the second one. The art is still good and it still does get really interesting as you continue. It is fun in that sort of way and really interesting about the story. Overall, it is something worth watching, but obviously the important part of the story and the part that I prefer to say are the spoilers. So I just want to say a couple of things. I did say correctly, I wasn't 100% sure if it was in the first book or the second book, but this part, or at least this amount of the book, is dedicated to sort of the backstory, but the other 2 parts are the part connecting them with this person who's selling this fruit, who was like, oh, the hospital, which is in the anime, which with certain details is really interesting in the books, and how they depict the certain scenes, but is really good. Because obviously, fully I respect animators, but with drawing, you have more restrictions because you don't have movement. So how you pose is, I think, interesting when you do stuff like this. Obviously, I'm not going to say animation isn't worth anything. It is still a lot. You also have the story with the person from the upper crust and the person from the lower crust, and it's like really interesting in that way, obviously. But the more fun one is this one, because as you can see, this is Sherlock. And it's also the whole thing that I mentioned in even the back book, which is essentially, it's sort of like slowly introducing Sherlock. Because when I originally watched it, I thought, oh no, we're not going to introduce Sherlock. It was the Moriarty thing. I was like, no, this Sherlock is still here. And I like how they introduce him with doing a traditional sort of mystery, by having Sherlock in the background, having Moriarty have one of his plans, and then Sherlock's just there. And then having a little story. But I love how it'll just be like, and here's what Sherlock's doing. It also introduces Dr. Watson. They do the sort of like plan that Moriarty usually has. And with that they introduce Sherlock. And then the next thing is a small little adventure with Sherlock where they introduce Dr. Watson, which I do think is a clever way how they sort of like move into that. So yeah, this is really fun, and again, it is better that I can be like, yeah, I can look at this, and this looks really cool, and like I can hold it up and move it. Yeah, I don't do the same thing for the DVDs, because quite frankly, don't care, but also allows me to just hold it and be like, books. But yeah, back to Marvel stuff. This is the last one that I kind of fully watched, or more like, you get what I mean when I get into it, but yeah, more Marvel. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night.